Micah, great guy, smart business guy.
Correct.
Understands how the game works. Have you gotten advice from him on how to embark on your NFL career?
He's been that older brother for me. He's giving me the advice that I need. He's there to answer any question that I have. So, I appreciate him, for all the things that he's done at this point in time, and I know that our relationship will grow, continue.
Top of the afternoon. It's your boy B Jizzle. We are live back as promised every Sunday at 4 p.m. on Position Predictions. And yeah, I got my crew back in the orange room. So y'all tap in with us. We're live on 3 locations here today. We're going to kick it off with some Cooper Rush news. So I'm going to get the feedback from my crew. So y'all do me a favor, like this video, share this video, tag somebody, send it to them in a DM. Let's get the algorithm jumping. We're live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn, and we're live on YouTube. So shout out to everybody on this Sunday afternoon. We are officially 39 days away from the NFL draft. And tonight we're talking about linebackers. But before we get into that, because I kind of messed up. We were supposed to talk about linebackers and edges, but I said, why double up when we can just move it out to the second to last week? So in week 5 here, we're going to be talking about linebackers. We're going to talk about edges on week 9. But before we get into linebackers, we need to get into the latest news about our guy, or maybe one of Kels's boos. Just one of your boos? What happened with your boo, Cooper Rush today, Kels? Talk to us.
That's definitely not my boo.
Oh, he's not your boo? Oh, okay, my bad. Let's welcome my guy Charles to the show. I guess she ain't down with the swirl, Charles. You know what I mean? We ain't got no chairs, baby. We live here this afternoon, and if you case you've been streaming under the rock, Cooper Rush is gone to the Baltimore Ravens. Charles, how you feeling about that? We know Kel said that ain't her boo. How you feeling?
Honestly, Cooper Rush has been great for us. He's 9-5 as a starter. As coming in as a backup. I'm happy for him. He got paid. He's not in within the EP5 with Dallas's schemes here in Dallas. So now it's out with the old, and time for somebody else new to come in and solidify that backup role for Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Kel's 2 years, $12.2 million. The Cowboys cheapos wouldn't even pay our number QB2 quarterback. What does that mean for our depth and for the draft? Because I know you said we're not drafting no quarterback too early.
So this is okay. So let me
clear the airways, Kels.
Oh, she got back up.
Airways,
Put it in reverse.
So here's the thing: there was no contract discussion with Cooper Rush, whether we was going to give him the money or not. Okay, so Cooper Rush would not be a good fit for this offense the way that it's running now. They are going to be more focused on running the ball. As we all know, what I have said over and over and over again, Cooper Rush is a pocket quarterback. Even with that, his visual eye on the field is not the best.
Right. He doesn't know how to read. He doesn't know how to read defenses very well.
Right.
Put it that way. That's the biggest weakness he has.
Well, I know in week 8 we're going to be talking about quarterbacks, and wanted to get y'all's feedback on that real quick. So $12.2 million for 2 years, Charles, in Baltimore. Rush Hour is officially in the Flock City, out there close to kind of where you at. I'm sure Baltimore Ravens fan. You got any Raven fans out there that's happy they got Cooper Rush today on the paperworks?
I haven't. I know of a lot of Raven fans. I haven't asked to see what they thought about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with him, he is a camp body.
Cooper Rush?
Yes, he's a camp body.
He's a camp body for the Baltimore Ravens.
For the Ravens.
For 2 years, for $12.2 million. That's an expense. Maybe that's what the Cowboys didn't want to pay $12.2 million. We've been talking about that 6 to 7 APY where DeMonte, or who is it? We just signed. Who did we just bring?
Dante Fowler.
Yeah, they paid him at $8 million. I just think because he had double-digit sacks last season and he's familiar. Maybe the Cowboys just say, "Oh, we'll give you a little bit more butter on the bread, so don't get it toasted," if you know what I mean. But $12.2 million. The Cowboys couldn't pay Cooper Rush. What does that mean moving forward? And then we're going to get into these linebackers. So y'all let us know in your comments down below.
But again, it's not that they didn't want to pay him. The thing is, there was no contract talks with him and his agent. because they already knew he was out the door.
Okay. So with that being said, and more clarity, Charles, Will Greer is now QB2 and contract. Trey Lance has no contract either. There's no market. It sounds like it's drying up for him. Before we get into these linebackers, what does that mean for the draft going to this QB depth room? We're going to go sign some veteran free agent, you think?
That's a great point. That's a great point, BG. I want to set the clear way of this airwave real quick with Cowboys fans. I don't want any Cowboys fans saying that Will Greer is better to be the number 2 quarterback in Dallas. Okay, period. Because he's not. All right. Just want to set that real quick. Everybody thinks Will Greer could be a backup quarterback to Dak Prescott. Well, as BG's always said, be careful what you wish for. Whatever, put him in the limelight of being the starter and see what he can produce. And I don't think he's ready for that.
Even though Dak Prescott did call a hell of a game for him, I'll give him that.
Right on. Shout out to Mark Sanchez. Thank you for the 88 stars, baby. Throw up the X. We're getting ready to get into these linebackers here today because now Cooper Rush is gone. But week 8, we're going to be talking about quarterbacks. Today, we're talking about linebackers. We moved the edges to week 9, so make sure and tune in, turn on your notifications. But we've got the best of the best. You've seen the intro video right there of Jalen Walker, who says he's getting mentorship from Micah Parsons. I like the way that sounds, but because he's also one of the top, the top ranked linebacker. Who we kicking off to talk about first with the ladies? Kels, talk to me. Which one of these studs you want to talk about first?
Hold on. Let me go back to it. Let's talk about which one you say you was doing.
Kels, I got Bosa. I got Bosa, Walker, and
okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jahad Campbell.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Jahad Campbell, yes. If you like Jahad Campbell in the comments, let us know which linebacker should the Dallas Cowboys draft at 12. Because some folks say we don't need no offense, we need defense. Wins championships, right?
It takes a whole village. That's where I'm at.
Jahad Campbell, 6'3", 235 pounds. Y'all seen him right there on the intro video. Y'all see the way he tracked down Quinn Ewers from Texas? Ooh, that boy got some feet on him, man. Talk to me about Jahad, Kels.
All right, so he is a box linebacker. He ran a 4.52 at the combine. His height is 6'3". Hands is 10.5. His weight is 235. His arm span is 32.5. His 10-yard was 1.53, and his broad was, oh Lord, I can't see. I need my glasses.
Get that sleep out, y'all. I know you done had that nap at the church.
No, I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, my bad.
27.
So Jahad Campbell, man.
Yeah, some of his strengths. Explosive first step jumps off the tape. Watch him knife through a gap against he did that against LSU, leaving their protection scheme in shambles on his way to a drive-killing sack. Coverage instincts have advanced for converted edge players. His interception against Georgia showed exceptionary routes. He brings serious pop as a tackler while maintaining efficiencies. Some of his weaknesses: over-aggression creates vulnerability against misdirection. Bit hard on multiple play-action fakes against some teams. I'm still developing hand usage. Why we always got to get the ones that have hands issues? Pad level rises when tackling in space, allowed extra yards after contact against physical SEC backs who could drive through arm tackles.
Well, we got Tyrese Ellis tapping in. That's a new name right there. I like that because we didn't mention the Miles Sanders signing because there's been a whole bunch of signings. We know we got to sign a bunch of camp bodies to get into camp. But Tyrese, appreciate you tapping in this evening. He says, by us getting Miles Sanders, we can afford to get a good defensive player. But let's not forget, we loaded at linebacker. Are we really or not?
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. So the answer to your question is that no, we're not. Who is our starters right now? I would ask you.
I would tell you Micah Parsons is one. I mean, we got Maris Leofau as linebacker. Wait, I got the list up here so we can take a look at the Dallas Cowboys. I think I counted them earlier. I think it may be 4 or 5 linebackers. You got Damone Clark.
Sam Williams is coming back.
Oh shoot.
Buddy Johnson, Maris Leofau,
Maris Leofau,
Micah Parsons.
Yep.
I have something.
And that's it. That's on, well, other than on the reserve injured roster, which we have DeMarvion Overshown there.
Yep.
BG, I just sent you something that can help you out. This is the draft, the updated draft, not draft, the updated depth chart for us.
Gotcha.
Had they released that yet, Kels? We've been looking at it. I mean, like, they just did today?
Nah, they did it a couple of days ago.
Oh, okay.
So here's your chart right here, looking at the depth chart. I mean, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of folks are saying we should go defense first round, but everybody's saying defensive line, but we re-signed Osa. And, you know, that got us a little depth there. You still got Mozzie and, you know, now talking about linebackers. I mean, talk to us about what you see on this depth chart.
Okay, I'm gonna break it down to you. The ones that you see in black, I have the defense and the offense. The ones you see in black, those are active, look like active starters. The names that are in red are questionable to be ready at the start of the 2025 season. The names in blue have fewer than 5 career starts. The running back, wide receiver, defensive end, and cornerbacks are the positions most lacking in healthy / experienced bodies at the moment. So this is where we are right now.
All right. Eric Taylor's tapping in, says, do they go linebacker or DT at 12 or trade down and get either? Then which one do they get? Jihad is a great player. I think if we're keeping the defensive minded here today, I mean, Kels, is it still running back, wide receiver, or is it anything goes now? Or could we draft a defensive prowess, a linebacker like what we see in Jihad Campbell?
That's still the plan. But like I said before, the 12th pick is going to be explosive. That's all I can say because it could go either way. So right now, still expect running back, linebacker in the first 2 running back, wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, but also be prepared if they pull a BPA in any of the positions at 12.
You see, and I think that's what a lot of people fail to understand, that the BPA scenarios are different. Like if you've done mock drafts, shout out to my guy Charles who introduced us the tool here with the mock drafts. I want to pull up the mock draft scenarios that I've been sharing, talking about defense here. You got to understand, like what Kel's saying, it could be explosive. We don't know what could happen, but why so defensive in Dallas? Look, I went and got a Jalen Walker. Jihad Campbell was already gone. I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing gone in the first 3 rounds is linebackers and defensive line. Like they all gone in the first 3 rounds.
Yep.
But I managed to pick up Jalen Walker, Omarion Hampton, and Alfred Collins at D-line here. So use the mock draft simulator, which we're going to pull up here later in the show. And get familiar with the mocks because a lot of folks saying, well, GT's not available in 12. Yeah, he's available more than you'd like to think. But Charles, talk to us about Jihad Campbell. What do you like about him over there? Because I think he's on your list too as well. You got anything else to add on what Kel's throwing in there?
I'm a nickel back on what Kel said is that, you know, this kid is he's got serious pop to his tackling. That's something I like on his videotape watching. The combine is watching him throughout the season. He's got serious pop, and you know, for me, it goes back to high school days and coaches teaching you how to correctly tackle somebody, and this kid definitely exemplifies that at its highest level. So he's also rated a top 15 draft pick, if I'm not mistaken, on that as well. Top 15, top 20 pick. So can Dallas pull the card on him at number 12? 100%.
You heard it right here, 100%. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get to some more of the comments of the crowd tapping in. Shout out to the Charger fan tapping in. Yeah, we kind of already got to that. You know, we don't see, even though with Cooper Rush being gone, that's not going to change the draft strategy for the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to jump between the first 3 rounds at a quarterback. Shout out to Sterling Sellers, Green Bay supporter here, Patreon supporter here, raised the bar member. That's what I'm talking about. Says, I seen an article in Cowboys mailbag that we should get linebackers in free agency and not the draft because our history in the draft are injuries. Thoughts on that? The truth? What do you got?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a hard.
Is there any truth to that?
I mean, there's some truth to it. I mean, hey, I can't argue with that. I mean, like I said, there's always a two-sided coin. You got to be willing to take a risk. Are we willing to take a risk for a linebacker? Do we foresee the injuries being foreseen at? We didn't see Dak Prescott getting injured last season, so that was an unforeseen thing to happen. So you can't go in scared into the draft thinking that the draft players are going to get hurt. If they're rated where they're at and they're great players, bring them on board, draft them, pull the card, and you can't think like that. Can you get a lot of good players out of the draft? Hell yeah. Can you get them out of the free agency? If it's within the APY of Dallas, get it. If not, then we're not wasting no conversation on it.
All right, Charles, who you got next up on your list here? Now we got the NFLDraftBuzz.com going.
I got the number one on the board, Mr. Jalen Walker.
That was who our intro video was in here. Did y'all catch that on the intro video that Micah Parsons?
Can you please replay that for everybody? I want everybody to pay close attention to this video.
It's kind of. I'd have to go through the whole thing again, and I don't want to do that. It's going to take too long here. But if you caught it, yeah, Micah's been mentoring this guy.
Micah's been mentoring this guy.
Clip. I sent you a YouTube clip.
Okay.
Can we play that?
Okay, go ahead, Charles.
Okay. Jalen Walker, yes, University of Georgia. He's top 15 draft pick. He's 6'2". His credential says 243, 245. He's from Salisbury, North Carolina. He has hands. He's 10 and a quarter on his hands. Arms, got short arms, 32. 2024, he was consistent. He had 38 tackles, solo tackles, 6.5 sacks. This guy is known for his athletic ability to excel off the ball as a linebacker. He's considered a hybrid, okay? Mm-hmm. And which would be great here in Dallas to pull the card on this guy to be a hybrid. Because why? We all know as well as I do. Dallas wants players that can be moving around on defense on different sides of the ball and be able to be positioned to make a play. And that's what we're known for in Dallas. Also, he's a strong tackler. He's shedding, climbing off of offensive linemen, and also he is a top 15 pick, and I'm going to tell you right now, this man's a dog. His 40 time was 4.5 seconds. This boy is quick.
Yeah, but what's the likelihood of him falling there? Because I'm telling you, I'm seeing all the defensive guys, all the defensive bubbas are going. I mean, hey, this dude is a stud.
He's a stud. He's a stud, guys. This guy's a savage. He is savage.
I mean, can you imagine adding him to our linebacker core? Kels, what do you think about Jalen Walker here as Charles is talking him up about these dogs?
I know this is one of her boo-boos.
No. Yeah. Okay, so
one of her he in the interview process right now. One of the potential boos.
She says she likes big hands. He's got big hands.
Oh, okay. We got to nail down here.
He's one of the 3 that was given to me on November 14th of 2024 when the team came to Washington to play the Commodores. So he's high on their board. The chances of him being there, honestly, I would say I would give it a good 15%.
Yeah, these mock drafts, I'm seeing them, man. If you got to pick your poison, it's either offense first 2-3 rounds, or you got to go defense, because if you get out of one of the mix, they're going to be gone by round 4, which even we're talking quarterbacks too as well. But all the defensive guys are going early in mock drafts. And if you've not done a mock draft yet, if you play fantasy football, it's just like fantasy football. Practice drafting for your team. See how well you can draft better for your team. Shout out to all of the Dak haters here today. I gave y'all some love this morning. On Sunday, we went to church. I need to know in the comments, who do we draft? We're going to be talking about that week 8, but let's get back onto these linebackers. Kels, who you got next up on your list? Who would you like to talk? You got any boos on the list? Or nah?
This one ain't a boo yet. He like you said, in the interviewing process.
Yeah. You checking out his resume on LinkedIn? I got you. What's his name?
This is Mr. Barrett Carter from Clemson.
Ooh. All right. Let's bring him up. There we go. Talk to us about Barrett Carter.
So his prospect grade is a 6.31. He will be a plus starter on any team. So
he's a shorty though. He only 6 foot 230 though.
Yeah.
I see you though.
Arm span 32 1/8. Hands is 9 1/4. He's a solid 231. His production score, he ranks 4th in the linebacker rank at 72. Athleticism, he ranks number 16 at a 73, which brings his total score as a 73, and he ranks 8th. He didn't do the 40-yard dash or the 10-yard split because he's saving that for his pro day. He did jump a vertical of 34 and a half, broad jump 9 feet 8 inches, 20-yard shuttle 4.41. When he was in high school, he was a 5-star recruit, top 20 overall. In 2021, he played a total of 13 games with 1 start, 16 tackles total for loss. 2023, 73 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss with 5.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 8 PBUs, and 2 FFs. In 2023, second team All ACC. He played 12 games with 11 starts, 62 tackles, 9.5 total for loss with 3.5 sacks, 1 interception, 5 PBUs. This past season, third team Associated Press All-American, first team All ACC. He was a finalist for the Buckets Award, which is the nation's top LB. He started in 14 games, 82 tackles, 10.5 total for loss with 3.5 tackles, 7 PBUs. He visited multiple schools and volunteered as a part of his voluntary service.
What is it that you think the Cowboys are interested in a guy like a Barrett Walker? Because this is the first time I've heard his name. Now, y'all know I don't watch college football. I'm learning on the fly here too as well. So maybe somebody else has this question. What is it about him? Maybe the Cowboys would like this. What skill set does he bring?
So
Anything?
Here's some of it. His prototypical range and athleticism to patrol across the field, has skill set to stack up impact plays around and behind the line of scrimmage, a good stick and move hands and short area quicks to elude blocks, outstanding pacing, charging of direction, talent when pursuing in space. He is known for coming off the blocks quick without causing a lot of penalties. Agile with twitchy bursts to close distance to tackle in short spaces. Standout blitzer, which is something that we need, and has an ideal quarterback spy. So think of Myles Garrett going against Terrence Steele. This brother is your Myles Garrett.
Yep.
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, if you take a look at the mock draft, I wanted to see where he ranked out. He's at 105. I see my guy that's tapping in. He brought up some great context there. Says that good 3rd round pick. Yeah, because I haven't heard him, and he might be available round 3, so he might be there. So great context right there. Wanted to make sure we went and got the mock draft simulator to take a look at that. Charles, anything to add to?
Also, his draft stock will increase more as soon as he has his pro day.
Yeah, this guy's, yeah, thanks for, I was getting ready to say, that's what I was getting ready to say. His stock is getting ready to rise up, guys. So I would see this kid coming in the late 2nd round, early 3rd round off the board. He is definitely on a lot of people's radar. I wouldn't say sleeper so much, but I would say don't think that he's that low grade of a 3rd round pick. This guy is definitely a force of.
Yeah, no, he's like the number 5 guy on the mock draft right there. And so, like I said, the first 3 rounds, man, defensive players like this guy is going quick. So he might be there in that late 3rd round, potentially that first part of the 4.
And he will be the steal of the draft like Cooper Beebe was.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, there we go. That's what I'd like to hear, a steal of the draft, as she talked about Myles Garrett against Terrence Steele. I got that loud and clear. Charles, who you got next up on your list to talk about these linebackers?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Kels, can we clear the airway with everybody on the show, whatever, about something me and BG talked off the show about the contracts of the players.
Yes,
contracts. The contracts of the players that were signed, okay, and the money that we spent in free agency, if they don't make the 53-man roster, that money doesn't go against our original salary cap.
No. Okay, so BG, can you I sent you 2 slides real quick.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Both of them, either one.
What do you mean? Well, you sent me a bunch of slides.
I just sent you 2 not too long ago.
Oh, I got you.
I told you I was going to be doing it while the show was going on.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't hear that part. Is that one you talking about right there?
Yeah, that one. Is there a way you can expand it a little bit?
No, that's as big as it'll go. So everybody just have to check it out. You can go through it and tell everybody what you see.
So Miles Sanders' contract breakdown. He signed a 1-year deal, which is worth $1.337 million. He gets a bonus of $167,500. In 2025, he will make $1.17 million with 1.3 guaranteed. He automatically gets a veteran salary benefit contract. So, with that being said, with his contract and some of the other contracts, if he does not make the 53-man roster, he gets that
he gets that $1 million.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't count against the salary cap.
It doesn't count against the salary cap.
Speaking of which, guys hear that? PG,
yeah.
Everybody, please hear this loud and clear, guys. Please, that's a very important piece right there.
If we sign somebody like a Royce Freeman last year for $1 million and he didn't make the team, it didn't hurt the salary cap. But Eric Taylor's talking about the salary cap. Where are we at? Does this look about right? We have $43 million in cap space right now. What's the current total on the bank situation?
Hold on, let me pull up the finances. Why do I have all this information?
50 should be.
Now see your other slide here. You got Robert Jones's contract on there, 1 year, 3.75. He's a linebacker, right? No, he's the offensive guard.
Offensive guard.
Who was it that we had? We swapped for the linebacker from Tennessee, didn't we?
Yeah, that's Kenneth Murray.
Kenneth Murray. There we go. Okay, so we got that one out the way there. Good deal. Good deal.
Currently have $41,773,304 in the bank.
Okay, so there you go, 41 million. Because we still need to pay Micah. Speaking of linebackers, they've got it listed that as a linebacker, and I was always curious about this. I want to get your feedback, Kels. Is it better to pay him as a linebacker or a defensive edge because he knows he likes to float over there to the edge? How are they going to pay Micah? And what's the market like for linebacker versus DN? Is Micah really already taking less, or is he going to get more?
Okay, so had they do a contract extension with him as a linebacker, he will be getting paid more.
Yeah, correct.
A defensive end gets a little bit less than that. So that's what it is.
Okay. So I just thought that was important because, now that we got the Micah Parsons is not going to get traded out of the way, we still got the domino of Micah Parsons to fall. And speaking of linebackers here, I know you have talked about this. How soon do you think the Cowboys, and I know this might be a question for Kels too, with her intels of any new developments. I know talk started, and I think some numbers got thrown around, but are we going to see the Cowboys drag Micah all the way to the draft, or we get him done sooner or later? What do you think?
We'll get him done sooner or later. Like I said on the last show, even if we sign him, by the post June 1 date, or
but that's after the draft. So you don't see him. We don't see Micah getting signed before the draft.
Like I said, if he gets signed anywhere between now, the post June 1 date, or training camp, we will still be saving $18 million. Right now, we're not in a crunch where, we have to sign.
So sooner rather than later is the name of the game to save the money, if that's what the Cowboys want to do, right?
Right. And technically, they have until November
4th.
Yep, November 4th.
November 4th, technically.
Yeah. So really, they could really drag it all the way to November 4th. We could go all the way through camp with how much Micah Parsons is worth and how much he deserves, and we get ready to talk about all of that. Are you ready, Charles, to talk about Micah Parsons' contract all the way to November 4th?
No, I don't want to talk. No, I don't. I would love to just focus on football. I think
Thank you.
Can we just
When is the
focus on
last time
football?
when's the last time we ever went into camp without having to worry about somebody's contract?
All this we're talking about contract, man. That's part of their job to get the contracts done. So then when we go into to the draft, then we go into training camp. We got our team together, and then that's when you start cutting players, and we got our 53-man roster ready to rock and roll. We're talking about all this he said, she said drama. It's just like, and that's what players are talking about in Dallas. We got to stop that, and hopefully Shoddy can not, to bring that different type of mindset
Culture.
here in Dallas. Culture, yes, the culture difference here in Dallas.
All right. I can't remember who was up next or who was last. Is it your turn, Charles? Who you got up next?
Last guy is Carson Schweischinger. Is this, how do I pronounce
Carson Schweischinger?
Schweischinger?
The UCLA guy? We know that ain't Kale's boo. Charles, we know. Yeah, we know that ain't Kale's boo, Charles.
Somebody's watching on the show, whatever. Nobody correct me if I'm wrong. Schweischinger.
Anyway, talk to us about the surfer kid out of UCLA, baby.
Yes. This guy is on Dallas's draft board. One thing I want to say about this guy, he is a tackling machine. I'll just say that. All right. And this is why he's on Dallas's board. He is a tackling machine. I wouldn't say so much Van Der Esch guys, but to a certain degree, he likes to move from side to side. That's his strength. He can go from side to side, and he's always in making a tackle. This guy is 6'2", 225. He's from Moore Park, California. 2024, he had 136 tackles with 46 assists and 4 sacks. For me, seeing his stats and his production, that's the type of guy I want on Dallas's team. And he wasn't injury prone. He never had an injury in college. And I don't know if Kels, do you have his stats pulled up on there at all for this guy? I don't have his stats on my computer.
Please hold.
I think we got a general overview on him. We don't need to beat the dead horse on the guy. Okay. We see that he's top ranked, and he's on the Cowboys draft board, which is very important. Everybody needs to know most, if not all, of the folks that both Charles and Kels are talking about are on the Cowboys draft boards.
Yes.
Okay? Keep that in mind.
Also, too, he didn't go in the combine because he had a hamstring injury. So he will be doing his pro day. Am I not correct? He's
right behind Jahad Campbell, number 2 in the draft. Before we even kicked off, I've got the mock draft simulator up. So before we get into any of the other players, great job on Carson Schweischinger, or however you say his name. Appreciate that, Charles.
Schweischinger.
All right. Yeah. We're going to go through a mock draft scenario here on the defensive tip. I want y'all to pay attention to the first 3 rounds of the defensive players that get picked. We're going to kick it off here, and then we're going to take a look at which of the linebackers are available at pick 12 to kind of give you an idea.
And I do have the stats right here.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so for the 2024 season, 90 solo tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 46 attempts, yards 13, average 6.5.
What was his 40 time? He ran a 4.8. They ran a 4.8.
You didn't ask me all that. Hold on.
All right, so we kicked off the mock draft, and if you take a look at the first 11 players that were picked: Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Mason Graham, defensive lineman. See, offensive tackle Will Campbell. Tet is off the board at 8. Jaden Walker came off the board also, along with Michael Williams. So you take a look at those linebackers. Look, Jihad Campbell is still there at pick 12. So I don't know, based on our current situation, because most Cowboys, if you listen to them, say we need a running back or a wide receiver. That's what we've been preaching here. So I want to talk to y'all about, in this mock draft scenario, if we're defensive minded, where are we even going? Linebacker, edge, DT, or what?
Get Jihad.
She's saying pull the trigger on Jihad. It looks like a little bit of a reach because he's at 22 now and we're at pick 12. So you got to remember this grade, because I took some players.
Go ahead. So BG. The problem with this draft that's coming up, guys, is that the player may be rated 22, but technically he is a top 15 pick. So even though they're saying it is a reach,
look at that. They gave us a B for Jihad Campbell. See?
But he's technically number 2.
Right.
He's the top 2 LB.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so y'all see it as it's working down there, and then we'll get back to pick 44 in a second. Remember, all of the defensive folks are going off early, so you got to remember that if you're doing mock drafts. Look, don't jump up in the comments in BDG and y'all be talking this and that, but y'all have never done a mock draft. Look, I've never done a mock draft before this season either, so shout out to my guy Charles for turning me on to that mock draft simulator. It really helps you as a fan understand the different scenarios because it's going to be a different. We don't know the perfect scenario. Who knows what happens in the top picks, trades or shakeups, or like Kel say, something explosive. Maybe the Cowboys trade with Tennessee for that first round or something. I don't know, Charles. What do you think?
Anything can go right with us here in Dallas Cowboys. Would it be wise for us to trade down and get 2 first picks in the first round? Yeah. Could I see that happen? What are percentages? I don't know, but could I see us doing it? Yes.
All right, Kels, who you got up?
Oh no, Carson Swissinger. He did not. The only thing he participated in the combine was the 39.5 vertical jump, and he bench pressed 20 reps. He will be doing most of his stuff at combine, but at his Senior Bowl, he ran a 4.740.
He's like Sean Lee, yes, pretty much, yes.
So
that's a good analogy.
So he's a Sean Lee without being injured.
Correct.
Okay. As we get further down into the linebacker depth chart here, Kels, who you got next up?
He's got brains right here. He knows the game. They also have contract extensions on trade.
Yeah, we'll be talking DBs next week. So tune in next week. We're gonna be talking defensive backs. We're gonna have all that smoking more.
Kels, do we got any update on the splash that we talked about over the weekend? Is that any close to coming true?
Wait, what is this? What is this splash I hear of?
Yeah.
You remember the last show I said that there are 3 that they are considering and they're only getting 1?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be between the end of last week and this week.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Once I'm green lighted, I will share. But right now, it's embargo. That's all you need to know.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, Joe says he thinks that because we haven't signed Micah Parsons yet, that maybe we're going to trade him. I thought we've already talked about that here.
Let's move on.
Mr. Tranchina in Italy. I know you got a little bit of lag time over there, but I know it don't take that long for them facts to get over there. Kels, who you got up next?
You trying to stir the pot over here, Joe. Come on.
All right,
I told you Joe's a mole at the star. Go ahead, Kels.
You got Jeffrey, right? Charles.
Jeffrey Bates, from Oregon, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Mr. Chris Paul Jr. from Ole Miss.
He's a good dog. Good dog.
Another dog. Oh, he's from Ole Miss, where my guy Jackson Dart from. I like Jackson Dart. 6'1", 222 pounds. Ole Miss.
Yes. He is.
What is it about Chris Paul the Dallas Cowboys may like or not like?
So he is a average. He will be a starter, but he'll be an average starter. So he will be. He'll be in on starting plays, but then they will probably move him out to give him a rest break and put someone in like on third downs or something like that. So his prospect grade is a 6.28. He is 6'1". His arm span is 29.78 inches. His hands is 9.3/8 inches. His production score, he ranks 6th in the linebacker rate with the production score 71, athleticism score 72, and he ranks 18th, which brings a total score of 72, and he ranks 10th. His 40-yard dash during the combine 4.63, 10-yard split 1.62 seconds, vertical jump 36. I think he was one of the highest for the vertical jump. I have to go back and see. Broad jump 9 feet 9 inches. He's going to do the 3-cone drill, the 20-yard shuttle, and bench press at Ole Miss's Pro Day. Some of the things that the Cowboys like about him: he's patient to diagnose run counters and settle into his run fit. shoots hands into blockers with good timings and without causing penalties. Good balance between caution and urgency and lateral pursuit.
Whew.
That's something that Flus really loves about him.
Did you see that tackle, Charles?
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
He just ripped him in half like a little shrimp.
Really gets caught in traffic with no
Micah
course
Parsons.
of action. He reads, and this is good too. He reads door gaps, so he reads A gaps and B gaps, and usually matches runner's decision, which means he will run a running back down.
Oh yeah, it's something about that number 11. Like Jalen Walker's 11, Campbell's 11. This guy's 11. What is it about the number 11?
I don't know, but he ain't gonna get it.
She already knew I was going.
He's willing to do the dirty work in the context of the scheme. Twitchy lateral burst to tackling cutting runners, determined and slippery in the gaps as a blitzer, and with something we need. We do need someone that can blitz real good.
I like what I see just on that little bit of that film right there. He seemed like a nasty guy, like he's really tackling tough. That's that kind of attitude that we need, somebody beating folks up out there. Let's get back to this mock draft here at pick 44. So let's take a look at BPA. Thank you for covering that for us, Kels. If we get back to our BPA here, speaking of edge, there's Donovan Izaraku, if I say his name. Look, there's Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman, Donovan Jackson, Darius Alexander we talked about. There he is right there at 41, Kels. Is that who you pulling the trigger on? If we went defensively minded, now this is what we're doing. We know the Cowboys are not going to go defense. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But just in case, this is one of these scenarios where we took a Jahad Campbell here, one of the top-rated linebackers. Charles, who do you see at 44? Do you like that move with Darius Alexander? He's 41. Kels, talk to me. What do you see?
Hit on DL.
Yeah, we need DL. No, he's ready.
That's Darius Alexander. Yeah, 41.
Yeah, I would go for him because he's
Tyleek Williams is there too.
Ooh.
And
Alfred Collins is there too.
And his draft stock moved up.
Who?
Alfred Collins, because he wasn't at 56.
Yeah, he's improved. I got him on one of the other. I got Campbell and Collins in one of my other drafts too when I went defense. But would we take a Darius? We're going to take defensive. We're going to take Alfred or Darius when it comes to defensive line. Who do y'all think is better of the two?
I like the raw talent of Darius Alexander, even though I love me some Tyleek Williams from Ohio State, but I like that raw talent he's got. Something about Alexander that just, I don't know. I think, like you said, these guys are going to come in and they're going to grow and mature, and they're going to, they're going to become a better player than where they're at in college.
All right. If you're tapping in on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, let us know what pick would you take. We're going to come back to this mock draft here in a minute as we get through some more of the players, the more the linebackers to talk about here on week 5. We are already halfway through our podcast, y'all. I can't believe it, man. Already going into week 5. Who we got up next on the list, Charles? You got anybody else you want to talk about?
Yeah, the last guy we got on Dallas's board is Jeffrey Bassa.
Jeffrey Bassa.
Bassa
from Oregon.
Yeah, don't get me to saying names. I'll butcher. Jeffrey the Butcher.
I'll wait till you pull him up, sir.
There he is right there from Oregon. Okay, another Oregon player.
Yeah, this guy.
Talk to us about Jeffrey Bassa.
He is, I'll just say he's a dog. He does dirty work. He's a dog. He is 6'2", 236. He ran a 40-yard dash at 4.63. He's got a 6.15 grade as far as prospect goes. 2024, he had 28 solo tackles, 1.5 sacks. His production wasn't as high. He had a 9 1/4 hands. He had 2 forced fumbles and also 54 tackles overall in 24-23. He had 71 solo tackles, 42 tackles. And then 2 sacks. 2022, 62, 31, 2 sacks. So the guy has been consistent, right? That's what you look for to draft somebody, is consistent production and able to fit our scheme. He does fit our scheme here in Dallas with Matt Effortless. And his vertical jump, he had a 38.5 vertical jump, and his arms are 31 3/8.
All right, I'm gonna get this mock draft simulator.
Jeffrey
Bassa, he's linebacker, right?
Yeah, he's going like 3rd, 4th round pick.
Yeah, there he is. Get it down there. He's at 128.
Yep.
Okay. So I just wanted to take a look at that real quick. All right. Good job on that one, Kels. Who you
Kels,
got? You got anybody else left, Kels?
on
Or no?
him?
Nope, I did my 3. And I
All
just
right,
want to
cool.
say that we just did. There's a few that is on the list, and not all of them were at the combine. Some are waiting for pro days,
Right,
to do it. We just picked the top 6 out of the ones that the Cowboys are looking at.
right.
We're taking a look at the trenches here. I got the offensive tackles up. Anything catch you guys' ladies' eyes there? Cameron Williams at 16. That's a little bit of a reach, huh? Going back to D-line, Darius Alexander. We pulling the trigger on a Darius Alexander. What is anybody comment down there below? Nobody commented down there. What are we pulling the trigger on?
Defensive end. What do we got on end? Defensive end. Edge. Bam. Wasn't he one of ours, Kels? Boston College kid?
Which one?
Donovan Ezeraku?
No.
So taking a look at the best available. If we're keeping it defensive minded, let's take a look at the running back, round 2. Scattaboo, Caleb Johnson, Dylan Sampson, Ollie Gordon is still there. A lot of folks are saying Ollie Gordon. So, okay, we'll get back to linebacker. Let's say we went double linebacker back to back. Is it Schweisinger or that's too much of a reach there?
What about cornerback?
Take a look at cornerback. We're going to be talking about defensive backs next week, so make sure you tune in.
Benjamin Morrison, he's on our board.
All right, let us know in the comments down there below. Who would y'all take? We've covered the linebackers here today. I know initially coming in, I wanted to talk about linebackers and edges, so we move edges out to week 9. We've got the mock draft simulator going right now. Mock drafts are something you need to get familiar with because it'll help you understand. I see a lot of people in the comments on Facebook all day long, trash players. Well, guess what? I mean, there's a couple of drafts I think I've done pretty much, you're trying to get an A or an A+ on every draft, right, Charles? Every pick, you want to make sure you're A or better because as you get B, a lot of folks are failing to realize that, our boo, Will McClay, got a C+ according to the NFL on last year's draft. So I know he's in charge, and I already asked Kels this before the show today. You've shared here with us that Will McClay will be leading the draft. What is that going to be different this year as we've seen it years past? Because everybody's going to say Jerry's going to pick the wrong player. Jerry's not picking the players this year, right, Kels?
Nope.
So talk to us about that whole setup.
So it is up to when I say that Will McClay has 100% control of the draft, he is solely working with Shoddy. So it's up to the coaches that we have to tell the scouts, this is what we need, this is what we're looking for, and they will bring in those top players. Okay?
So that means Will McClay and his staff get to actually pick the players. They're just going to take it to Jerry. Jerry can't even veto it. He can just Jerry just got to turn it in, and we're going with what comes up to me.
The only thing he's doing on the draft weekend is turning in the card.
I think that's huge, and I think more Cowboy fans should know that. Charles, talk to me. How does that make you feel this year? It's got to be something different. It's not Jerry in control of trying to pick, like, say, Johnny Manziel.
We've all been crying about culture change. We've all been crying about Jerry to step out of his way. And here we go, guys. Here's our opportunity that we're seeing changes here. If you're paying close attention as a Cowboys fan, you're on this show and you're paying attention, Jerry is stepping out of the power, per se, and giving the power to Will McClay to turn in the card. And Steven and Shoddy. Okay, guys. So that is change here now. So that's exciting. That's awesome. I'm super excited about that because now, guess what? Will McClay's resume speaks for itself, period.
And also, if you looked at the last interview where he said that, well, we're not being selectively aggressive, yada, 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 whatever, you can see that him and Steven are not on the same page.
Yeah, selectively aggressive, and that's not the right term or the right word. I think he said something like, okay, polar opposites.
Right. Because if you saw majority of the interviews from the Senior Bowl, the East Shrine Bowl, and the Combine, the ones that have been doing most of the speaking have been Shoddy, McClay, and Steven.
And Catboy.
They have been a triple tandem. They have been saying the same things. They have been talking at different times. At all the different times that they have talked, they have been in sync. Here comes Jerry Jones, and I'm like, bro, you so out of it.
Yeah. But we don't want y'all to be out of it. And so that's why we're keeping y'all in the know. You can check the comments. Patreon is what drives us here. This show is a Patreon exclusive. The Patreon link is in the comments. We're having a Raise the Bar competition, which I know my girl Kels gave me some new intels. Who is going to be the draft king or the draft queen? Can you predict how many of each position the Cowboys are going to draft? And as a prize, you will win the updated 2025 Star Draft Guide, which, Kels, I think you just said it'll be available here the first week of April for 2025.
The digital copy will be available the first week of April. The deadline for the magazine to be completed by its writers was this past Friday. So that's all the information I have to know about that I have pertaining to the draft guide. Also, listen up. We will be looking at drafting a quarterback in the later rounds of day 3.
So that's kind of where they're going to be targeting folks. So, Charles, I hear that loud and clear. We need to target some later round quarterbacks and see what we can come up with on these mock drafts.
I already gave them to y'all. Told you. Kyle McCord, Tyler Shue from Louisville, Kyle McCord from Syracuse, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. You can get a steal in the draft. The guys, those are on our board. Those are Dallas players that Dallas likes.
I don't think folks realize this between Schottenheimer and Will McClay making the decision on who to draft. I don't know what more of empowering Jerry Jones needs to do besides getting out of his way, but that is something we need to hear more of. Y'all need to go out there and let folks know that Jerry ain't in control. Now, Jerry signed the checks, but you heard it from my girl Kels right here. Jerry's not going to veto it if Will and Shotty come up with a pick and say, this is who we want, as wild as it may be. It sounds like Jerry is all in. He's like, you guys got it. That's empowering. You know, I think that speaks to the staff where he let Shotty go out and pick his staff. Now we're seeing players come. You know, we got to take 90 players into camp. So y'all stop acting brand new like y'all ain't never been through this before. We got to sign a whole bunch of nobodies so we can get to camp and we can narrow this stuff down to the 53-man roster. Because ultimately, that's what it's all about, right? Is narrowing it down in Oxnard to the 53-man roster. So don't get caught up with the big names. And I understand folks are not liking these non-sexy picks, but we need them non-sexy camp bodies.
All right, so to piggyback to what Charles said, 3 of the ones that they are looking at as a QB2 option is Quinn Ewers from Texas, Cal McCord from Syracuse, and Curtis Roick from Indiana.
Oh, so they've changed now. I know Tyler Shue was on our list. Now he's not on our list anymore, Kelly?
I think she said his name.
Oh, he did. Tyler Shue from Louisville.
No. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So a project quarterback, what it's looking like, nobody that could come in case Dak gets injured because now Will McGrew or Cooper Rush don't went to Baltimore and we don't know what our depth chart is looking like. Interesting news right there. Thanks for shouting that intel there, Kels.
Yeah, and also I sent you a link. Guys, if you want to attend some of these pro days are open to the public. We're going up on week 3, so tomorrow is the 17th. Arkansas, Northern Illinois, Oregon State, Syracuse, and UCLA will be having their pro days.
All right, I got that link in the sub. I'll put it in the comments. Thank you, Kels.
Yeah, so these are open to the public. You could go to their athletics or their football Instagram page or Facebook page, whatever media they have, and it will tell you if it's an open pro day or if it's a closed pro day. The only thing that is closed, from my experience from going to Howard Universities last year, all the field activities are open, but when they do the bench press, the broad jump, the vertical jump, not the broad jump, the vertical jump, That's the one where they have to hit the thing. Yeah, those are inside the weight room.
Got you. I know you're excited about pro days coming up because I know y'all are talking about getting together and getting some content and doing those types of things too, Charles. So tell everybody what it's like for you, because I know years before you weren't this as dived in. Maybe you're as dived in on your team, but in terms of content and creating, content and getting out there and, working with other Cowboy fans, what has it been like for you fast forwarding over this last year for you to be Charles the Truth up here on BDG?
Yeah, honestly though, man, it's being tapped in. I've always been tapped in, but I think just paying more close attention to the game, to the players, college, just a little bit of everything. I do fantasy football. I've been following it for years and years. But it's just being more personable, I guess, is the best way to put it, and open up more doors and opportunities to meet new people, which is amazing. I'm super excited. And by the way, guys, this is all being done free.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah, neither Kales or Charles are getting any kind of pay here. So make sure when you get down on that Patreon, that does go to my pocket, but that does help keep the lights on and the Wi-Fi and all of these neat things to keep us looking good here. But as we grow as a platform, so will the show. So make sure you get your Raise the Bar membership. It is in the comments. I want to know where you draft experts are at. Come on, for $4.99 a month. Just sign up for 1 month and come test your skills against me, beat, my guy Charles and Kels. Who is going to be the draft king or the draft queen? Because we're going to find out who really knows their stuff. And this is not about who we pick in the draft. It's about the number of positions. So with that being said, I'd like to throw it to my girl Kels. How many linebackers do you see the Cowboys getting in the draft with one of these 10 precious picks?
Can you pull up the draft order?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Sure can. The draft order. Okay, the one that you sent me last time. Let me scroll back over there. Yeah, there we go. We got it right there. Oh, come on. I'd like to say thank you, Comcast, for sending me an email saying that I'm getting more speed than normal. My internet's a little bit faster. That is another benefit here. So, Kels, talk to us about this draft order.
All right.
How many linebackers are we taking?
I can see us using an active one and probably a compensatory pick.
Charles, talk to me, baby. How many linebackers do you see coming off the board out of these 10 sexy picks?
I see us in the first 3 to 4 rounds. I see us getting one, and also too, one of the compensatory picks. We might get a pull the card on the linebacker. So I think 2. Realistically,
Kels, you said how many?
2.
I say 2. 1.
Yeah.
I say 2.
I think it's 2. I think it's 2 across the board. I think we're gonna get 2 because even though Kels has showed us, let's go back and take a look at that. What you sent us.
Well, not
earlier,
only keep
Kels.
in mind too the trade we just got Kenneth Murray, okay, but we also need depth. Look at the depth chart. Look at that. Look how many linebackers we have.
Yeah, especially with Demo being out until November, December time frame. And, our problem has been stopping the run. So I would think, maybe, we're going to see what does the staff,
we don't know
what,
we don't know what Jack Sanborn's going to do. We don't know what Kenneth Murray's going to turn out to be. So you got to have backup for these players because these players come in and they play, they get injured. We went through that last year, guys. You need to have bodies that can come in and play.
And that's what a lot of people need to understand, like these no names, saying, who are these no names we're signing? Do y'all realize we only carry 53 men on a roster in the regular season? Mm-hmm. With that being said, how many bodies do we go into camp with, Kels? How many is it? 90? What is the total number?
It's it's different now since they shortened the preseason. Mm-hmm. Because what they used to do is by the first preseason game, they would normally cut the roster down. So normally
there was intervals where they were doing some cuts. I remember that.
So it's normally
like 90 to 93 or something like that, isn't it?
To 95.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now since they have shortened it to 3 preseason games, 4 if you're lucky to play the Hall of Fame game, because that will be an automatic or extra preseason game. They will normally cut the roster down that Monday after the last preseason game. It goes from a straight, let's say 95. It will go from a straight 95 to a 53-man roster. They will, and one thing that the Cowboys are famous for doing. They like to hide bodies.
On the practice squad. Yeah, they're good at
Yeah.
that. Shuffling.
So,
The camp bot, what is it? The practice squad roller coaster.
yeah. They're known for hiding bodies of players that they really, really
Like Dalvin Cook, who's still on the practice squad.
Well, no, I can't say that. One of the ones I could say, for example, that they really like, he ended up moving to the active roster, was Marquise Bell.
What about Nick? Yeah. Hey, what about Nick Vigil? He's a linebacker. Nobody's talking about that kid. He's
fine because his contract is still active right now.
Oh, it is? Okay, I thought he was a free agent.
No.
Okay.
So getting back to what we're talking about, that 90 to 95 bodies in the camp. So a lot of these people, like a Paris Campbell or whoever, may not even make the squad. Y'all don't even remember who Royce Freeman was. We bring him up as an example. Last year he was a running back, even though we had Zeke, even though we had Hunter, and we drafted Deuce, all of that. You know, Royce Freeman still got off with $1 million, which they already told us here today too, Kels, right? Any free agents that pick up money on the Cowboys, no matter how much it is, if they do not make the 53-man roster, it does not count against the salary cap, right?
Right. And also you have to, what a lot of people don't know is some of these contracts can be voided automatically if they have an injury clause already in it, especially if it's a player that has been injured for a while. But they could still hold their own and still a solid player. For instance, Gerald McCoy, when we got him in the COVID season, when it was time for practice, because I don't think they went to Oxnard. They did all their practice, their training camp stuff at Frisco. He got hurt on the first day of training camp, and he had a quad injury. The clause that was in his contract was an injury clause to the quad.
Wow.
So they voided the contract and he was gone, and then they brought in another player. So that's another thing that will happen in training camp too. So they
got to narrow down the contract to the muscle.
Yeah. So when they and the Cowboys are not the only one that does it. Washington also installs injury clauses in contracts as well. Yeah. But when you look at training camp, you could hear so-and-so was released from the Cowboys today in training camp. And then maybe 3 hours later, the Cowboys have signed so-and-so and so player. And they will be arriving to training camp. So it's going to be so many moving parts when it comes to training camp. Just be prepared.
It ain't our first rodeo, Kels. You know, we know the routine here in Dallas. You know, we know the routine of the game. One thing I wanted to say is about Sterling's comment, though, about the training camp is going to be interesting. Keep in mind, guys, these camp bodies that were signing Miles Sanders, Paris Campbell's, keep in mind, something that nobody's talking about, nobody's keeping a close eye on, is that these players are going to do what? They're going to come in and they're going to push the other players to do better so that we can get the best 53-man roster. So keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
And also, what I think their 30 visits are open to the public too. Doesn't
that start tomorrow, Kels?
Huh?
Doesn't that 30? When is that 30? Oh, you said March 21st. Are they coming for the 30-day visit?
I don't know when the Cowboys. I have to look at it.
Okay.
But I know tomorrow some of the schools are having their pro days. But Virginia Tech running back Busal Tootin. Yeah, he's heavy on the Cowboys list, and
he's the fastest running back in the 40-yard dash.
Yeah, and
what do you run?
Yes.
What do you run?
He ran a 4. Didn't he run a 4.3?
A 4.3.
He's got to be pretty fast. Yeah,
he was fast.
Thank you, Sterling Sellers, for those 200 stars. I appreciate that coming in. We're getting ready to wrap the show up as Kel's looking up that 40-yard dash right quick. We are on defensive.
Also, Damian Martinez from Miami.
Yeah, University of Miami.
Yeah, he came up on the board real quick for the Cowboys. So both of them will be at the Cowboys 30 visit because they did go to school, whether it was high school in Texas or they went to college in Texas.
All right, there it is, y'all. Linebackers here. We were going to talk about linebackers and edges and double up, but we could only talk about linebackers. A lot of studs in this upcoming draft. Where the Cowboys go defense, we don't know. We covered linebackers here today. Next week, we're going to be talking about defensive backs. So make sure, turn on your notifications. Make sure and come join us on all 3 platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube next week. We'll be live at 4 p.m. Same time. We got 5 more episodes to go. We are halfway through this podcast, and I'm telling you, I've learned a great deal from both of y'all on this podcast, just through our conversations, before the shows and after the shows and things like that. Great tools like what you offered us here, Charles. I appreciate both of y'all doing all of the hard work here, because y'all provide not only what the Cowboys are looking at, but also a perspective that Cowboy fans, I think, are failing to see, because the big networks don't want you to really pay attention to all of that. It's part of their job to spread the disinformation.
They want to cause this right here. Everybody fighting. They want the drama. Right. That's what pays the money. Keep that in mind, fans. This is what all they want. This.
Yeah, Brashard ran a 4.32.
4.32.
Yeah. And also, outside of us, tune into the Cowboys radio podcast. They have 2 shows per week. The draft show.
Yeah, that's one with Brianna Aldridge is over there, right?
Cal Humans is the host. Then they have Brian Broaddus, who I'm real cool with. I like Brian Broaddus.
I watched that the other day. Bobby, I'll show you. Yeah, Bobby and Brian.
Bobby Belt will fluctuate in and out. Nick Harris.
Vosh Lombardi's over there too, right?
Yeah.
Vosh Lombardi. Shout out to Vosh Lombardi on YouTube.
It's on my nerves.
Yeah. I know your girl is Miss Hendrickson over there, right? There's a Henderson. Nicole Hutchison, right?
No, she doesn't do the draft.
Yeah.
I wish that they would have added another female like they did. They used to have Aisha Morrison.
Yeah.
But now she's with DLLS Sports.
Yeah. DLLS Sports is really good perspective. I like what they're doing over there. A bunch of those guys got together. They got a really good crew over there, putting out some really good content over there.
But she still does draft insight on the show she's on, Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
Right on. Well, special shout out to my girl Brianna Aldridge. I got to meet her out there at camp, and also ran into her down there, boots on ground in Atlanta. I've seen her on the videos over there too. So linebackers here today. This has been Position Predictions, episode 5. We're going to be kicking off week 6 next Sunday at 4 p.m. So y'all make sure and turn on your notifications, baby. Keep doing them mock drafts. Keep believing in your team. You got to have a little bit of optimism. Take it day to day with your Cowboys. Take it day to day with us here. Make sure you come back, join us next Sunday. We're going to be talking defensive backs and all that Trayvon, Diggs, smoke, and more. We'll see y'all in the gym on the next episode.
Linebacker, you want to be in the middle? Do you want to be like weak side backer? Yeah. Is there any where you want to be?
I want to be a Swiss Army knife.
Do whatever.
I want to be a guy that do it all, Mr. Do it all.
Right.
Whatever I could be, a key contributor, towards the team. I'm there for it.
But